not a bad way to start your day. So welcome. It's nice to see all the smiling faces and be in front of you. It's a great opportunity. So thank you for the warm welcome. Let's get into it. I want to talk a little bit today about planning, but first of all, you all ask, who am I? I know probably 25 to 30% of the people in the room, a lot of new faces. That's a little bit about me. I came to Action Coach in May 2007 and been with Action Coach for 6.5 years, I guess it is. My wife, who's joined me this conference, is here. Been married for 18 years. We have 4 wonderful kids. And Action Coach has been a wonderful, I guess, happenstance into our life because she's an entrepreneur before I was. Her coach, she was introduced to coaching before I was. I had just left, spent 10 years in the corporate world, and I left that behind. And she kind of goes, well, why don't you look at coaching? My first response was, no word of a lie. Is he self-employed? Yeah. Not interested. We had 2 young kids at the time. We were still wanting to have a bigger family. I'd used to kind of having a paycheck, company car, fairly good expense account. It was comfortable. Well, after 4 or 5 months of looking for some background and looking for the next best thing, I couldn't find a good fit. So I started to investigate the world of coaching, business coaching. I then started having coffee with her coach, and a couple months later I ended up buying the Action Coach franchise and the license from him. So here we are 6+ years later. We're based in Calgary, and part of the journey that Steve talked about for me along the way in the past 2.5, 3 years has been trying to figure out what motivates me, what motivates us as coaches. So my family, my motivation, and my goal, pretty simple. In reality, I love great life experiences. I don't always know what they are. What I've learned probably in 6 years of being Action Coach is, you know what? Open your mind up, show up, learn, and do. And we've had some amazing, wonderful life experiences. Our family's had some wonderful life experiences. We've had some not so wonderful life experiences. But I want to be able to share those life experiences with my clients. In the years past, what's frustrated me the most about my clients is we all get stuck running businesses. They're not motivating anymore. They're stuck. So if we can go out and learn and live our lives, and we can share that enthusiasm and energy with them, that is fun for me. I like those life experiences with my wife. We're sports fans. We live in North America. Baseball, hockey, football, those things can be expensive at times. I want to be able to share those with my wife and with my kids. And at the bottom there, a big one that's come to my attention the past 1.5 years is just the apathy that some business owners have and the indifference they have to just, this is normal. For those who know me and know me well, I have this weird, bizarre passion for business. It is a beautiful, wonderful tool. It can do anything we want it to do for us, and for a business owner to not allow that to ignite them and to let it languish causes me pain and it frustrates me. So I am working hard to find ways to inspire them, and that's my motivation and my goal. And what do I want to share with you here today? 5 things come to mind. Why have a plan? Talk about it all day long. Why have a plan? So we'll share some of that with you today. I'll share why I have a plan. The fun part is having a plan, your road plan. Why doesn't it always equal results? What do we have to learn about the planning process so that we increase the chance of getting results when we have a good plan? We're going to jump into the SMART goals a little bit. For those who've been around a long time, if you don't know the definition of SMART goal, I'll give you 2 out of the 5. We'll talk about that today. I want to take some of the classic Action Coach slides and tie them into planning a little bit to see if we can dig a bit deeper. And if we have time, we'll kind of get into some of the common myths and mistakes that I've learned and my clients have shared with me over the years is kind of what keeps us from being successful. So why have a plan? I think first and foremost, it sets our RAS. It sets our reticular activating system. It gives us that thing to accomplish. Without a plan, squirrel, it doesn't allow decision making. A plan gives us focus. When an opportunity presents itself, we can take that decision and compare it against something else to make a better decision. So that's a big part for me, is just let it set your RAS. It improves your decision making. It makes for faster decision making, it makes for cleaner decision making, and also makes for improved motivational decision making. Most importantly, it's something to measure progress against. If you you don't have a plan and you happen to have success, do you ever know how much success you have? Do you know what you actually achieved? Do you want to get out of life? So, for me, those are the three big things in having a plan, is just setting a reticular activating system, and then having something to make decisions against. Your plan has to motivate you. It has to get you to jump out of bed. I think on one of the slides I say in there, it has to jack you up. It has to put a spring in your step, a smile on your face. Planning isn't always fun. We all have different levels of detail when we want to put a plan together. But you know what? That plan, once you've built it and it's yours and it's personalized, when you wake up in the morning, it should motivate you. It should be a hard decision every day to not execute your plan. It should tug at you. One thing I've learned along the way, it has to address what you'll do when you get there. Accomplishing something is fantastic. But part of that plan, that detail you need to add in there, is when you get there, whatever it is there is for you, what is life there for you? What are you going to do? What is it going to feel like? That's a big part for me as a plan, because you achieve, part of why we're here is the lifestyle. Well, when you improve your lifestyle and you're working 2 days a week or 3 days a week, whatever your target is, and you're making $35,000, $40,000 a month, whatever your revenue target is, whatever your profit number is, what are you going to spend it on? How are you going to travel? For me, the big thing that triggered for me in the last year and a half is I found a business plan I'd written from about 2006 when I first started business coaching. And one of the things I put in my plan is I wanted to make profit with my coaching practice and buy other businesses. Somewhere in the first 2 or 3 years of coaching, I'd lost that. I just wanted to be a coach and coach. But the minute I refound that, that was the motivating factor that triggered for me, because that's what I wanted to do with coaching. And then more importantly, it was congruent with me. I love business. Business is fun. It's the most powerful tool in the world. It's in all countries, all languages. It can be whatever you want it to be. It can be whatever your clients want it to be for them. For me, that's why it was congruent for me. I can't walk back there because my slide's here. So, that's the big part. And it goes to the identity expert. So when we talk about being congruent, when we talk about our behavior patterns, how far down the iceberg do you have to go for it to motivate you? So if you're congruent, if your plan is who you are, then what part of that iceberg do you have to get to in building it? Is your plan simply actions and decisions and behaviors? If it is, and you haven't achieved your plan, then guess what? Your plan has to go deeper. Your plan isn't just action steps anymore. Your plan actually has to address your beliefs and values. It has to get to your identity. So a big part of when you're walking away from this week doing your planning, does your plan identify the gap in who you are and who you need to be to achieve what you want? So, I mean, that's the identity iceberg for me and what it does with planning, because you can't get those results without it. What is your why? When you're planning, when you have your plan, when we're talking about your motivators, what's in your plan to excite you, to encourage you? In 5.5, 6 years of going to conference, I've heard coaches talk about their why, and it's for the clients and what it does for the clients. I'm going to respectfully disagree. In working with clients and working with myself and working with other coaches, guess what? Your why has to be selfish. It has to be borderline selfish, because if it doesn't jack you up, if it doesn't get your heart pumping, you ain't going to do it. You simply won't execute it. So when you're building that plan, let it go to your core. Let it go to who you are as a dad, as a wife, as a husband, as an entrepreneur. Let it drive you. And that's, give yourself the permission to be selfish with your why. It doesn't mean you have to make $1 million. It doesn't have to be rich, but it has to be selfish. There has to be a part of you that is intrigued and driven. Change is hard. And a lot of times when we build a plan is to get something we don't have. The reason we don't have it today is we're not ready for that. So, that change is hard. And that plan has to excite you and ignite your passion to want to change. It has to drag you every day out of where you were to something better tomorrow. And so when you're building your plan, keep that in mind. Let it be internal to you. Include your family and your friends, but let it drag you, because that change part is what it's going to take to get you to wake out of bed and do that thing every day, day in and day out. So we're going to go on to SMART goals now. I'm going to talk about two in particular. So SMART goals: specific, measurable, achievable, realistic, time-bound. I'm going to do them in reverse order. I'm going to talk about two today. I'm going to start with realistic because that's the simplest one to cover. What does it mean for a goal to be realistic? Somebody just shout it out. For a goal to be realistic, what is it?
We can do it.
Yeah, we do it. Quite simply, it's physically possible. It can be done in the physical world. So if we look at things that are relevant for our conversations and kind of in and around the action coach world, is platinum possible for us as coaches? Yes, somebody's done it before. Right? Is it realistic? Emerald, yes. There's 20 or 25 coaches going out tomorrow at Emerald Lunch. It's been done before. Right? Is it possible for Emerald Lunch to go to the moon tomorrow? No. It's just not. So there is some things that we have to, when we define our goals, to make them realistic for us. But guess what? As you go around and talk to the other coaches in the room, can you name me one goal that somebody has said or a plan they've written that was unrealistic? Show of hands. Like, has anybody heard an unrealistic plan from another coach in this room? Ever? Maybe one? Maybe two? So 99, 98% of our plans and goals are realistic. They're physically possible in our physical world. So it begs the question, where does it fall down? Why do we have some Emerald coaches, platinum coaches? Why do we have coaches that aren't profitable? Let's ask the question.